Hello students and welcome back to our channel. So today's video is on the topic of the history of atom. You must have got it from the name itself. If you don't know what is atom, then please pause the video here itself and do watch our previous video which was on atom. Then you will get the clear idea what atom is and what I am talking about in this video. So without any further ado, let's just quickly hop into the topic. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, then do subscribe it, hit the bell icon and also like our videos. And obviously, if you hit the bell icon, then you will be notified about our video when we put it on the YouTube. So let's start with the history. So the history of the atom starts in the year, which was in before Common Era, which was done by the Rishi Kanad sir. Yes, he was living in between the century of 6th century to 2nd century. Now, his name was itself so important because Kannad means atom eater. He was an Indian philosopher. Now, there was a very simple story here. When the Rishi Kanad sir was walking down and he saw a particular truck which was filled with grains. And he saw that there was a hole in the jute bag and the grain was falling down. From there he get an idea that this whole universe, whether it is I or that grain, is also made up of very small substances. And then it was at the time of before Christ. So he was very much interested in going through the Vedas. And from the Vedas, there was a specific book he was studying, and from there he came to know about the 9 constituent realities. And he said that all these are also made up of atoms, or they are made up of Parmanu. That was the name given by Rishi Kanad sir. Now, what are these substances? There are earth, on the planet which we live, water, light, then air, the space and time. These are all the physical quantities and the qualities which are present. But many of the chemists at his time, they were not actually satisfied because he was not being able to prove it. And because of that, his idea was not being considered much more. After that, the sir came whose name was Democritus. He was a Greek philosopher. He also lived at the same time. He was very much inspired by Rishi Kanad. Along with his mentor, Leucippus, he also studied about the same thing. And what happened that they were sharing that when we cut a substance, for example, here we have an example of a tomato which is being cut. So when you chop the tomatoes, you will reach a point where you won't be able to cut it into more smaller pieces. And that Democritus named as Atomos. What is Atomos? It means it is uncuttable or it is indestructible. Then what happened? He also got rejected. Why? Because he was also not being able to prove like Rishi Kanad sir. As it is very much good saying said by the Hitchcock's razor that what can be asserted without evidence can also be dismissed without evidence. But did the discovery and the history stop here? No. There were more scientists. The next scientist came was John Dalton. In the year 1844 AD, that is Anno Domini, of which we call it now as Common Era, he has given us an atomic theory. And he said that like these Lego blocks, which makes up either a building or a car, but the Lego block is an atom. And he said that all the matter is made up of this small indestructible particle. And because of his provement, his evidence, he was being able to give the 4 postulates in the atomic theory, which also got rejected, but he was the first scientist to put that much kind of effort. And this was how the atomic structure he made. It was like a spherical ball. Okay. Then came the next scientist. His name was Joseph John Thomson. He said that the atom is not a sphere of ball. It is like a plum pudding, or it's like a watermelon, where the plum, the cake, is the positive charges and the plum inside is a negative charge. The way we have the watermelon, which is a positive charge, and the small seeds is a negative charge. Because we know that everything attracts, the opposite attracts. So if there is positive, there would be negative also. Then the next scientist came, the student of Thomson, whose name is Ernest Rutherford. In the year 1871 to 1937, he was living. And he actually performed an experiment. The experiment, he took a radioactive source which gives out the alpha particle, and there was a gold foil through which he passed on the particles. Now, according to him, it was to say that the all particles should not get deflect and they just pass on directly from the golden foil. But what he observed, that there were some of the particles, they were getting deflected, and some of them they came back. So if you can see in a more better way, you can see here the image where these are the atoms of the gold foil, and the particles are being passing from here. Some are getting non-deflected, they are just passing directly, while some are getting deflected because they are getting hit up by something. And from there, he made an assumption that the mass of an atom is concentrated in the center. And the electrons, the negative charge, are actually revolving in the shells around the atom. And he gave us the very first structure of an atom, that the positive charge, the proton, is there in the center, whereas the negative charge electron is there revolving around the nucleus. But then, here's one more student who was very much interested, Niels Bohr. He said that electrons, they revolve in a stable shells. The way every planet has their own orbital, and not any other planet can come into the other planet's orbital. Same way electrons have their own specific orbital in which they revolve around the nucleus. Then come the very next scientist, his name was James Chadwick. What he did, he was weighing the atom, and out of him he got to know that the electrons were these many numbers, but the mass of an atom was exactly the half of it. Then he discovered one more subatomic particle, and that was neutron. So now in the nucleus, we don't have only proton, which is positive charge. We also have one of the subatomic particle which is having no charge. It has neutral charge, but it is neutron, which actually makes up the whole mass of an atom. It is present along with proton inside the nucleus. This is how the atomic structure looks like. So we have the nucleus, which has proton, positive charge, neutron, neutral charge, and then the electrons, which are revolving in a specified orbital around the nucleus of an atom. Isn't it interesting? So here we come to an end for the history of an atom. So if you are interested for the many other videos, then please do like our video and comment in the comment section so that we will be getting your suggestions and we'll be making videos on that. So till then, take care, safe at home. Bye.